and a really warm welcome to today's masterclass. And today I'm calling the class How to Sever Yourself from Manipulation in Relationships. So I don't know if you got this maybe experience where an ex-partner, for instance, I'm just giving you an example so you can relate. And it could, of course, many other examples could be true for this. But if you have a partner, either a partner or an ex-partner, who is wanting you to do a certain thing. So like an ex-partner could be wanting you to stay with them or come back to them, be with them again, for instance, or a present partner. I don't know if I got such a good example for you, but he wants you to do something and he keeps on mentioning that, what he wants you to do, and he keeps on gently pushing you, kind of mentioning it, and it seems to you it's a little bit of a pressurizing experience. So if you have an example like that and you are experiencing being gently pushed or manipulated or persuaded, right? And you have found yourself following that because you kind of want to be the helper, you kind of want to oblige them because you feel that they kind of need you, they need you and want you to be around. And kind of on the ego level, that feels good, right? Oh, he wants me. And you feel that they are maybe more and more, the more you're kind of waiting with your answer, and the more you are, or maybe if you even said no, or I don't know if I want that, and the more you say that, or, they will probably push further. So if you know that experience, let me know in the comments, let me know if you watch this later, let me know if this makes sense, if you have had that experience, let me know. And you could always share with me your scenario, and I could actually comment on your scenario, your issue. So the scenario is that you are aware of the pushing, you are aware of you being kind of manipulated, not in the worst possible ways, but gently, so-called lovingly. And you're also experiencing that you are having a resistance towards that. And as you are a helper, usually you have got a big heart, you are very heart-centered, and you always want to help, and you want to give your love, you want to give your help. And then you realize, I'm actually in a dilemma situation here, because I want to give, and I want to help, and I want to be loving, and I'm also being manipulated into doing something that actually, if I was using my truth, and this is the key element that you have to put into place here to solve the dilemma. Your truth really, if you were observant and if you were allowing yourself for your heart to win, you would know that this thing that your guy wants you to do or wanted you to do doesn't feel aligned with your heart. But you also want to oblige, because that's been your pattern, and you want to help the other person and you want them to be happy. But you can't pull yourself into two, right? You can't be here and there at the same time. And therefore, you've got to use the element of truth to help yourself. And this could be hard at the beginning. And the element of truth will have consequences. It will maybe mean that you are going to sever yourself from that relationship. Because if you're following your heart, and your heart is saying, I don't feel good at this, I don't want to be with this person, I feel small, or maybe you feel overrun, or maybe you feel not heard, and you feel you're just giving to them what they want, but you're not giving to yourself what you want. If that's the case, you either distance yourself a bit, you don't invest in that relationship to get something back, and you're just playing the friends, and you only do that as much as you can, not to overgive, you know, to only be there for company. Maybe as long as you're having fun as well, it's fine. But when you feel drained, you spend too long there, you give too much, you do too much what they want and not listening to you anymore, then you start feeling drained. Then you have to pull yourself back, right? So making the choice that's aligned with truth will have consequences. So the questions that you always have to ask yourself in that dilemma: how do I feel about this? Do I actually want this? If I had all the time and all the money, would I choose this? And then you have to be really, really honest. And you might find, oh shoot, I'm actually giving too much out and I'm not listening to myself. And then something has to change, right? And if you don't change something, you probably end up burned out, or you get ill, or you have an accident to put yourself, you know, life will put you back into alignment. And if you're not listening to yourself, to your heart, to your truth, then something will have to happen for you to do that. You cannot go on forever living next to yourself, you know, out of alignment, and just doing things for other people all the time. So in order to end manipulation, or to sever yourself from that pattern of manipulation, you will have to come back to truth, to your absolute truth of what your heart is telling you. Your heart always knows your aligned truth, you know, the absolute truth. And that is always a feeling. You can't lie to your feelings. Or you can ignore the feelings, of course, and stay in your mind and keep on running from your mind until you get burnt out. Or you have the accident or the illness. Something happens in your life that will stop you. So the sooner you're listening to your heart, the easier your life will be. And the sooner you're severing yourself from any form of manipulation, the sooner you're coming back to your full power and to your full truth. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments. And if you've got any questions as well, please do ask. So you need to ask yourself always, 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 whatever is happening, especially when you're an empath, and especially when you are a heart-centered person, and you tend to give too much. Does this feel good to me? Why am I doing this? And what do I really want to do? Am I being honest to myself? Am I being truthful to myself? So how does this feel? And do I actually want to do this? They are really simple questions, and so often we are forgetting to ask them because we feel so obliged, or we are so much in our pattern, or we feel a guilt. If we don't do this, then so-and-so will be angry. They won't like that. They will give us a hard time. You know, there will be a process in between coming back to your full power to sort out the patterns. Of course, you know, there will be. Oh, there might not be. It depends on the person, right? And the more empowered you already are, and the more you have already listened to yourself, the easier it will be. So if you're very far away from your true self, it will be harder. But if you're already quite close to your truth, then it will be much easier. So who's ready to come back to your full truth? Who's ready to fully align with your truth? Who's ready to take back your power and stop manipulation? Who's ready to live from your truth rather than from someone else's truth? Who's ready to be fully embodied in your own truth? Not just a little bit, but fully. Who's ready to see what is it actually? What's the real reason why you have been giving your power away? What did you want to get from that? What is your need that was actually making you stay in that relationship that isn't aligned with you? Or what part in you was giving in to what someone else wants you to do, even though you feel like it's not what I want to do? Why are you doing that? That's what you have to also ask yourself. What is the need underneath your behavior? That's what you really need to find out. You know, it's really to do with wanting something, wanting to be loved, wanting approval, wanting company, wanting to be acknowledged as you are, wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard. And all of that is a pattern that's coming from childhood. It's when we were children, we needed all that from our parents. And so often we didn't get any of that because our parents didn't have it themselves to give to us. So it's always about embodying it. That what we wanted from the outside, it's about embodying that within ourselves. Being that ourselves. Being the love that we wanted to receive. Being the joy that we wanted to be. Or being the approval that we wanted to hear from others. Give it to ourselves. And acknowledging and accepting ourselves as we are. That's always the big key to an empowered life, right? Can you see that? Look, I've got a funny hoarse voice today. So, you know, the truth is very simple. We feel the truth in our hearts, kind of almost always, but we are ignoring it, right? Because we want to live the patterns that we've always lived. We want to follow the unconscious mind because it's still very strong. But it's always going to be painful in some ways if we are following the patterns, if we are following the wanting to receive something or the need. It's always going to be painful. Because the truth is, we don't need anything. In our wholeness, in our magnificence, we have everything. So it's us to come back to realizing that we didn't really need anything because we were always already whole and magnificent when we came into this world. But as it is on this planet, we immediately, as children or as babies even, we are expecting to be looked after. We are expecting to be nourished and fed and acknowledged and, you know, accepted and loved. And it comes with that duality experience that we're having here. But it's the minute we can acknowledge, we can see that we are actually the wholeness that we are looking for on the outside. When we really see that, we can pull our energies back that we've given to others, to our parents. We can see that they are not actually whole themselves, which we thought they are. We thought they were gods and they were giving us all and everything that we wanted, that we already are ourselves. And then when we pull back all the energy from our parents or our guardians, then we are here with ourselves. And we are realizing that we don't have to look on the outside any longer. Because we already have everything here. But the outside world is this amazing mirror. The outside world is the guidance system. It's like the GPS that shows us where we still need to take our power back, shine more light onto, have more presence, where we have to wake up more. And it's always the outside world is showing us sometimes some things, and then we feel a pain, right? And that pain is the gold. And when you go deep into that pain, which is really, again, a guidance to guide you to the inner child that's still sitting there waiting for the love that she never had. And it's up to us to give it to her, not to anybody else. And if we do that work, if we actually reconnecting with our inner child and seeing her as the fully empowered self that we are, because she comes in whole. She is still the light. She comes fresh from the light, and she still is the light when she comes in. And she's then wanting the love from the parents. But really, the parent is the one in need of love. And it is really erroneous. It's actually something I've discovered today, again, that I came actually here to come to my parents, to give them all my love and my light. They needed all my love and my light. And I always thought I needed it from them. And this is really the way it goes. Because the parents have paved the way for us and their parents and their parents and their parents to get ready for us to be born here in this point in time when we came in, to have it so much easier, really. And to shine our light much easier than they could ever do. So we are really their teachers. And we are really here to embody our light, to show our light for them and for ourselves. So it's never been about we need to get something from the outside world. It's we need to be who we are. We need to be the light and the love who we are. And then, of course, all games, all patterns end. We come back to ourselves. We come back to our joy and to our love and to our peace. And we radiate our truth. And then we are fully empowered. And then we are fully back in our own magnificence. And nothing is needed any longer. That's where I feel we are at now. This is the time we are at on the planet. We are all invited to come back fully to our truth, to our magnificence, to our light and our love, where we do not need anything at all. Where we are instead that bright, radiant light for the world that's here to shine and give of our essence. And when we do that, everything comes to us. The universe pays back that what we give out. So when we radiate our love and our light, we get back that, multiplied. As long as we are radiating in our own essence, we have to be our essence. Like if you can ask yourself, if I had all the money and all the time in the world, what would I like to give to the world? What essence? And whatever comes to you is the currency you're going to be paid back in. So for me, for instance, it's joy. I just want to give joy. I want to be in joy, give the joy, and get back more joy. So I want to create this massive, joyous experience. So then I must only do things that are joyous to me. I must only be my true essence. And when I am my true essence, I get paid easily. I get paid back easily. And if I do anything that feels hard or laborious or not joyful, I have to give that to someone else to do. And then things are in flow. So that's where I'm at right now. This is where we all get to when we play full on in full alignment. And then there won't be no more hard work and no more difficulties and no more challenges. This is where we are going to. And in order to get there, we have to meet our inner children, because our inner children are the ones who are carrying that essence, that core essence. Like for me, it was always joy. I really still remember I was under 3, and I remember I was radiating this joy at my dad, and I didn't feel it coming back. And I thought, why isn't he meeting me where I'm at? And I actually internalized his pain, and I thought I wasn't wanted and I wasn't lovable and I wasn't important and I was nothing. And I've come full circle now, And I'm coming back to this little 3-year-old, or even a little bit younger. She's got these radiating eyes that are full of joy. And I'm coming back to her now. And when we have healed our inner children, they can radiate that essence again. We can feel it in us. We can see her all the time. And we can be her and live our life from her essence. And then life is aligning and life is becoming easy and flowing. So we need to heal our inner children in order to get back our own essence. And that's why I felt so drawn to our inner children. I always knew when they are not pure and, their pure essence, if they are still tarnished and flawed and hurt and in pain, they can't shine their light, right? And I felt always so passionate about bringing them back fully, making them the center stage, giving them all our attention. And only when that has happened, and only when our children can radiate again, that's when we are in our full power. And that's why I'm offering you my services. I'm here to help you to resolve your childhood issues. That's really what I do that's the main work we do together when I work with you one-to-one. And I'm still offering you actually this 1-month package until the 4th of June, where you can get 4 sessions and we work together for 1 month. We meet once a week. And you also have in between sessions support. If something comes up, or if you want to ask a question or share something, you've got me for 1 month to work with you closely. You can ask me all your questions. We do the weekly sessions. We resolve childhood issues. I guide you really deep back to your child. We find out what she needed at the time. We give it to her, and she releases that longing for the love, that longing for acceptance, that longing to be seen or to be heard. So she can let that go and come back to herself and realize that she's already what she's been wanting all along. And that's when the longing and the wanting is stopping. That's when you take back your power. And that's when you are fully embodying yourself again. That's the end result. That's the goal we're having. So if you want to, maybe solve just one little challenge because you've already done lots of work on yourself, the 1 month container is perfect. Or if you want to get to know me and you want to start working with me and see what it's like, that 1 month container is also perfect for you. And it's always there to cut down the time it takes you to get to your inner diamond, to your jewel, to your child, to your inner child. That is really your gemstone. It's always about saving time, The more, the more time you can save, the more time you have for yourself to enjoy, to live your life in your own joy, in your freedom, and in your abundance. Can you see that? So actually saving time is of the highest essence. It's the highest currency, It's worth much, much more than money. Money can't buy you time. But if you are cutting short your evolution, your time to get to your own jewel, to your gemstone, that's really valuable. So I invite you to reach out to me. If you want to work with me one-to-one, let me know. Just send me a private message and we can have a chat. And, until the 4th of June, you still have this 1 month container available to you. So let me know if that interests you and let me know your questions. I love to hear from you. Until next time, bye for now. Sending you much love.